The Browns strategically held a longer 7-on-7 period to accommodate the need for more reps to go around. Both Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel split about 36 reps in individual drills. Gabriel took the first reps of team drills.
So it's been about 2 weeks since the greatest draft slide that we've ever seen in NFL history. Shedeur Sanders, a player that about a year ago was supposed to be a lock for a top 3 pick in the NFL draft, then slid all the way down to a top 5 pick in the NFL draft before being projected to be selected by the Saints at 9th overall, slid all the way to the 5th round of the NFL draft, where the Cleveland Browns traded up and selected him in a why not type of move. And the reaction to this was a combination of people memeing Shedeur Sanders for falling all the way to the 5th round. Fans dug up old tweets of Deion Sanders talking trash to other parents saying that Shedeur was going to be a top 5 pick. Mel Kiper had a full-on meltdown where he spent a full 10 minutes of the NFL draft broadcast criticizing everyone around him for the fact that Shedeur Sanders wasn't being selected in the first couple rounds of the NFL draft.
My point nobody's arguing that can happen.
Race, the NFL has been clueless for 50 years when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks.
How many
times? They say we know exactly what we're talking about with quarterbacks. They don't.
And I mean, honestly, looking back at this, the crash out is absolutely real.
Quarterbacks now, and Reese, you know it well with anybody. College kids now get paid. You got to deal with that. If you're the NFL, you got to deal with that. He's saying whatever he's saying behind closed doors. What's he saying? I want to be the guy. I should be this. I should be that. Who is it? But what quarterback out there didn't think they should have been a high first-round pick?
And the memes that came out of this are absolutely hilarious. I'm sure you guys know about the selection of the new pope, and fans even pointed out the fact that it took 2 days to select a new pope, but it took Shedeur Sanders 3 days to be picked in the NFL draft. And it's very easy to see why so many people were rooting for Shedeur Sanders to lose, primarily because of how cocky he was when he was playing college football, and the fact that he had one of the greatest trash-talking defensive backs as his father and his head coach backing him up didn't really help his likability by opposing fans. At the same time, people felt like his confidence was refreshing, and some people even believed that race had to do with the fact that he slid all the way down to the 5th round of the NFL draft, which I guess would typically be a valid argument if the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft wasn't also a quarterback. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the clips of Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders training together, I highly recommend looking at some. I mean, we'll show you a few in the video just so you can get an idea of why Shedeur Sanders probably fell to the 5th round.
They gave you a completion percentage award, but all you did was throw check downs and bubble screens. If I did that, my completion percentage would be 90. I throw the ball downfield, you don't. You ran the ball. You had a run game.
We're on perfect time already.
Come on, bro, let's make a song. Let's drop for him, real shit. I play football. Here we go.
Football.
I play football. You ain't got no hobbies outside of that? I play football. That's the only thing I want people to know me as, football player. Let's search up Cam Wood, we say American football.
But eventually, fans started to realize that it seemed like the reason why Shedeur Sanders fell didn't have anything to do with his talent level, it had to do with character concerns. I'm sure you guys know that the New York Giants did their homework on Shedeur Sanders, and they had a pre-draft meeting with Shedeur Sanders that apparently he bombed. According to Jeremy Fowler, while the Giants worked out Shedeur Sanders the week before the draft, Sanders sensed much earlier that New York probably wasn't in the cards for him. Sanders openly acknowledged during the pre-draft process that he didn't hit it off with the Giants coaches. Todd McShay even would mention that Shedeur is not in play at number 3. Shedeur is not in play with the New York Giants as far as I'm told. He didn't have a great interview with Brian Daboll in a private visit. An install package came in, the preparation wasn't there for it. He got called out on it and he didn't like that. Brian Daboll didn't appreciate Shedeur Sanders not liking the fact that he was called out. And honestly, this is the story that makes the most sense to me. I mean, Todd McShay even had this to say about Shedeur.
There were 2 personnel people that I spoke to who were in the room during interviews. They're key parts of the organization. Let's leave it at that. 2 teams drafting in the top 10 with quarterback needs where the interviews did not go well. Not disrespectful, nothing harsh. The phrase I've been using, and I think it aptly describes it, we didn't get the sense that Shedeur cared all that much about what we thought of him.
And when you just dig into some of his old pre-draft interviews at the Combine that are available to us, these stories don't seem that far-fetched.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the culture, don't get me. You should know history repeats itself over and over and over, and I've done it over and over and over. It should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me.
E7 Pro, who's the mic? The mic is 41.
Do you have any issues to the strong side here with the protection?
No.
If he was coming down and getting on the line of scrimmage, you would say what?
Over.
Great. Good job, buddy.
He should be pushing for leverage. Yeah.
Excellent.
On diesel right, 56, F my canner. Who's running this shallow?
Nah.
Turn. Toss.
If you would have pointed the other one out.
So now, instead of being a top 10 pick that without a doubt will have a future in the NFL, Shedeur Sanders was selected in the 5th round. In a move that was clearly orchestrated by the Cleveland Browns ownership, but given the situation that the Cleveland Browns are in, and the fact that the quarterback position for the Browns doesn't seem to be very promising, at least prior to the NFL draft, I honestly can't blame them for the path that they decided to take in order to try to come to a solution at the future of that position. So earlier in the NFL draft, they decided to select Dillon Gabriel, passing on Shedeur Sanders and honestly causing Deion Sanders to crash out even more. And then in the 5th round, they traded up and selected Shedeur Sanders in a move that without a doubt made the Cleveland Browns draft one of the most interesting drafts we've ever seen, but also one of the most valuable drafts. I mean, getting a top 10 player with the 5th round pick is always a great move, and when you consider the fact that it's low risk, high reward for this franchise that desperately needs a QB, I really think it's a good decision for them. But the caveat is now that rookie training camps have begun, everybody is mainly talking about Shedeur Sanders. I mean, even the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft was asked about it and how he feels about the fact that a 5th round pick is getting more attention than him.
That doesn't really matter to me. You know, I come to play football. If the media's on me, then they're on me. If the media's not, then, you know, it's not. I'm just going to do my job at the end of the day. But
so now Shedeur Sanders is going into rookie camp with a lot of stakes on the line. I mean, he needs to compete for a position on the Cleveland Browns roster. The Browns already have Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, they have Dillon Gabriel, and they also have Shedeur Sanders. So one of these players are getting cut. And I think it's safe to assume that Joe Flacco is probably going to stay. And Kenny Pickett had a very solid season for the Philadelphia Eagles as their backup QB last year. So Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are pretty much playing for their NFL careers. And if Shedeur Sanders happens to get cut, the Toronto Argonauts are interested in signing him. So you might even see Shedeur in the CFL if he doesn't lock in right now. The interesting part about this rookie camp battle between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders is there's a lot of mixed information coming out of camp and you don't really know who to believe. So we did a deep dive and did a bunch of research to make sure what's coming out of camp is actually passing the eye test. And to be honest, it's kind of difficult to know who's telling the truth based off of what's out there. Brad Stainbook said that it's just the first day of rookie minicamp, but Shedeur Sanders looked sharper than Dillon Gabriel. This is only the beginning. The competition is real, and it's going to be one of the stories of the season. I mean, I would say it's one of the stories of the offseason, not necessarily one of the stories of the season, but Kimberly Martin gave us an insight as to how the training camp battle was going.
The Browns strategically held a longer 7-on-7 period to accommodate the need for more reps to go around. Both Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel split about 3 dozen reps in individual drills. Gabriel took the first reps of team drills.
Fans were also concerned about the fact that Dillon Gabriel was taking first team snaps and Shedeur Sanders wasn't, but Coach Kevin Stefanski commented on that as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't look into anything. Whole weekend going through the spring, I mean, we don't pay too close attention to who's in there.
And to be honest, when you take a look at the footage of both of these quarterbacks, it's really difficult to tell who's winning because at the same time, you're getting clips like this from Dillon Gabriel on honestly a check down. When you take a look at all of Dillon Gabriel's footage so far, it looks like he's poised in the pocket and he's going through his progressions and is taking calculated risks. I mean, particularly this touchdown pass was one where he threaded the needle to his tight end. But at the same time, there's significantly more footage of Shedeur Sanders out there than there is of Dillon Gabriel out there. So this is what Tony Grossi of ESPN Cleveland had to say about day one of rookie minicamp.
It was in the team drills and 7-on-7s where you could really see the difference in these two quarterbacks. Dillon Gabriel seemed to be more assertive, more decisive in dropbacks. Certainly his passes had a little more torque on them. Dillon Gabriel was tremendously accurate, right on the hands most of the time. It's not to say Shedeur Sanders was inaccurate. Somehow he gets the ball there. He can layer the ball in, even if it's not a perfect spiral. That's just the way he throws the ball. If you did not know the last names of both of these players, you'd say that number 5 looked a little bit better, in my opinion. He looks like a left-handed Russell Wilson.
It's very difficult to evaluate Dillon Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders because it seems like fans want Shedeur Sanders to win. And I'll admit, I personally want Shedeur Sanders to win as well, just based off of the fact that I'd love to continue making content on the guy. I'll admit it straight up to you guys. But my friend RBT actually mentions that this is why the Shedeur Sanders discourse is impossible. Reporter was actually at the practice and said that he believed Dillon Gabriel was a little bit sharper today, and the comments want him sent to the torture chamber. And if you take a look at the comments, he's actually right. LOL, bro is lying to himself. This dude just seems like he hates Shedeur Sanders, not giving him a chance. I thought he looked really good. Bro's about to feel the wrath of the Sanders following. Most attention he's ever gotten, and it isn't gonna be good. Shedeur was the only QB that had no incompletions, FYI. Some guy quote tweeted the Brad Stainbook tweet and said that Shedeur looked way more sharper than Dillon Gabriel. And to be honest, Shedeur Sanders looked very sharp in his first rookie training camp with the Cleveland Browns. He looked poised, he looked accurate, but at the same time, it's not like he made any throws that really blew my mind either. I guess at the same time, we haven't seen anyone throw major interceptions or make egregious mistakes, or at the very minimum come in looking like they aren't prepared. So I believe that's very good news as well, considering what we heard about Shedeur Sanders during the pre-draft process. But at the end of the day, the main things you're seeing from training camp is a bunch of pages posting how accurate Shedeur is and how great Shedeur is and how he should have never slid to the 5th round. There's even tweets about the fact that he is one of the last 2 individuals off of the field, and you should look at how great his work ethic is. At the end of the day, I'll admit to you guys straight up, I want Shedeur Sanders to win. It's just a part of me smells a little bit of BS in the way that this is being reported. But as time goes on, if Shedeur Sanders does make an egregious mistake at rookie camp, or if he's just a diva behind the scenes, we'll end up finding out about it. But at the very minimum, it seems like we have the opportunity to cover one of the most uniquely exciting rookie quarterback training camp battles that I think we've ever seen. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you were this locked in on a training camp QB battle between a quarterback that was selected in the 3rd round of the NFL draft and a quarterback that was selected in the 5th round of the NFL draft for the Cleveland Browns of all teams? I think it's very special that we get the opportunity to watch this, and I'm going to do my best to cover each and every update on this channel. So make sure you subscribe and turn on our notifications. And if you haven't checked out our baseball channel, we just dropped a new upload there. I'll leave it in the end screen and meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.